Hey, I hope you're doing all right tonight. Before you close your eyes and before your mind drifts away from the noise of the day, I wanted to spend a little time with you and take you somewhere peaceful, far beyond all your thoughts and worries. Tonight, I want to tell you a story. Not just any story, but a story about where we come from and what holds our world together every single day, quietly, without anyone noticing. And to be honest, this is something I've been thinking about recently. We look at the sun almost every morning, but rarely do we stop and ask ourselves, what actually is it? Where did it come from? Why does it burn so perfectly? And what will happen when it stops? If you're lying down, get comfortable. Take a slow breath if you can, and just let your body soften a little, because tonight I'm going to take you far away, long before the earth existed, before the planets, before there was even light. We're going back to darkness, complete, endless darkness. You see, the sun wasn't always there. In fact, the space where our sun burns today once used to be nothing but a giant cloud, a cold, silent place in the universe. Scientists call it a nebula. Imagine a huge cloud of gas and cosmic dust, stretching wider than anything we can understand, floating, drifting, for millions and millions of years, untouched, unseen. No planets, no earth, no oceans, no sunlight warming anyone's skin, just a quiet, endless night. And inside that darkness, slowly, gently, something started to change. The gases began to pull themselves together, little particles attracting each other through gravity. Very slowly, over millions of years, the cloud started to collapse inward. And at the center of that collapse, a tiny spark began to form. Just a little more heat, a little more pressure, a little more gravity, until one day, something extraordinary happened. The first light appeared. Not like a sudden explosion, more like a quiet spark forming in the heart of darkness. A young star was being born. That star was our sun. When I think about that moment, I realize something beautiful. Everything we know, everything we see, everything we touch, exists because somewhere in the cold universe, a star found enough strength to shine. And right here, if it feels good, just take a moment and breathe slowly, because even we humans, in our own small way, are also trying to shine every single day, even when everything around us feels dark sometimes. And listen, if you enjoy these late-night stories, feel free to subscribe. I'll be sharing more peaceful journeys every night, so you always have a calm place to return to. No pressure, just if it feels right to you. Now, back to our sun. That young star wasn't calm at all in the beginning. Imagine a newborn child, full of energy, unpredictable, wild. The early sun was just like that. It spun fiercely. It burned hotter than anything we can imagine, and it pushed away massive waves of radiation that shaped everything around it. Planets didn't exist yet, but the material that would become them, tiny grains of dust, were circling the newborn sun, waiting to come together someday. And here's something most people never hear. In the early days of the solar system, our sun actually consumed a huge amount of material around it, almost like a child eating everything he can reach. Pieces of rock, gas, matter that might have become planets, were swallowed by the young sun. Whatever couldn't escape its gravity simply disappeared into its burning core. Slowly, the sun calmed. Slowly, it settled. Slowly, it started shining steadily, like the warm, familiar star we see today. I find that beautiful, you know. Even a star had a chaotic childhood, but eventually found balance, just like us. And as I say this, if your eyes are getting a little heavier, that's perfectly okay. You don't have to stay awake for every word. Just listen gently, like watching waves in the dark. The sun's story is long, and we're just beginning. The sun's childhood was wild and unpredictable, but eventually it began to calm down. Slowly, the furious explosions and violent magnetic storms started to settle. It found a rhythm, a steady heartbeat, and from that point onward, everything in our solar system began to fall into place. Around the young sun, tiny particles of dust started sticking together. Little pieces became larger pieces, and those larger pieces became rocks, and those rocks eventually formed the planets we know today, including our home, Earth. Imagine that. The place you're lying right now, the pillow under your head, the life we are living, everything, came from dust gently spinning around a newborn star. There's something comforting in that thought. We are literally made from the leftovers of starlight. Sometimes I think, maybe that's why humans look for light, even in their darkest days. Somewhere, deep inside us, we remember where we came from. As the sun matured, something beautiful happened. Instead of destroying everything, it started supporting life. It gave warmth. It gave energy. It became the reason oceans didn't freeze and plants could grow. Every sunrise you've ever seen, every morning light that woke you up, has been part of a 4.5 billion year journey. By the way, if you're enjoying this gentle story, feel free to like the video or leave a comment. I love knowing someone out there is listening at night. If you ever want more peaceful bedtime stories like this, you can subscribe too. Only if you want to. No pressure at all. Now, something interesting. Inside the sun, there's a process called nuclear fusion. It's like an endless fire, but not the way a candle burns. The sun doesn't burn oxygen. It fuses hydrogen into helium, and that process releases enormous energy, enough to light up the entire solar system. What's incredible is that the light reaching your eyes right now is about 8 minutes old. Light travels extremely fast, but the sun is so far away that it still takes time. When you look at the sun, you're looking slightly into the past. Every sunrise you've ever seen is actually 8 minutes late. When the sun sends light to Earth, most of it warms the oceans, the soil, the trees, and a tiny part of it reaches you, through your window, touching your skin, letting you see the world. In a way, the sun has touched every moment of your life, without you even noticing. Something I love about the sun's story is how patient it has been. It doesn't rush, it doesn't hurry, it just shines, steadily, every single day, without asking for anything. Humans struggle, we doubt ourselves, we worry, but the sun simply continues its purpose, quietly, faithfully. And sometimes, when life feels uncertain, it's nice to remember that somewhere above us, the same star that shined on the dinosaurs still shines on us today. The same light that warmed ancient oceans warms our skin every morning. The same energy that helped create life still gives us life today. The sun is not just a star. It's a bridge between the ancient universe and the present moment, between what existed billions of years ago and what exists now. Scientists believe the sun is about halfway through its lifetime. Right now, it's stable, calm, and peaceful. But one day, far into the future, it will change again. Many billions of years from now, the sun will run out of hydrogen. When that day comes, something dramatic will happen. The sun will start burning helium instead, and it will expand, growing larger and larger until it becomes a red giant. Its size will be enormous, possibly reaching out to where Earth's orbit is today. But don't worry, that's around 5 billion years from now. By that time, humanity will be long gone, or maybe living among distant stars. Honestly, I find it comforting. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end, even the stars. When the sun finishes its life, it won't explode like massive stars do. Instead, it will shrink down gently and become what scientists call a white dwarf, a small, quiet, peaceful star, like a candle slowly fading out after shining for billions of years. Sometimes I imagine that moment, the final soft glow of a star that gave everything it had. It feels poetic. The sun lived a long life, created worlds, warmed hearts, gave energy, and eventually it rests. And if you're slowly drifting off while listening, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to finish the whole story awake. Even if you fall asleep, your mind will continue listening. The universe has a calm way of speaking to us when we close our eyes. There's still so much to explore about our sun and the mysteries it holds. Whenever you're ready, we'll continue this journey together. The more I learned about the sun, the more I realized that our entire existence depends on something happening quietly, 93 million miles away. That distance sounds huge, but in the scale of the universe, the sun is actually extremely close to us, close enough to keep us warm, far enough to not burn us. It feels like a perfect balance, almost too perfect to be accidental. And here's something interesting. The sun is not unique. Our galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars, just like the sun, some much bigger, some much smaller, and many that have planets of their own. Somewhere out there, right now, another sun might be shining over another world, warming oceans we don't even know exist. Sometimes when life feels overwhelming, I like to think about that somewhere above all of our daily worries, there are billions of burning stars continuing their journey, completely unaffected by what happened in our day. It gives a strange sense of peace. Our problems feel heavy, but in the scale of the universe, they are tiny. Not meaningless, but small enough to let go a little. Inside the sun, something fascinating is happening every second. The temperature in the core reaches millions of degrees. That heat presses atoms together, making them fuse. This fusion creates light and energy that travels outward and eventually escapes into space. But here's something most people don't know. The light that leaves the sun's surface today might have taken thousands of years just to reach the surface from the core. So the sunlight touching your face in the morning starts its journey long before it ever reaches you. When I learned that, I started seeing sunlight differently. It's like a message from the past. Something created deep inside the sun, thousands of years ago, traveling slowly outward until it finally meets Earth. And somehow, that ancient light becomes the reason plants grow, animals survive, and humans exist. Sunlight fuels everything. Without it, Earth would be a frozen rock. The oceans would be ice. There would be no trees, no forests, no birds, no life. Every living thing depends on the sun, directly or indirectly. The food we eat, the air we breathe, everything is part of a chain that started from sunlight. Even human emotions are shaped by sunlight. Have you noticed how you feel a little better when warm sunlight touches your skin after a long night? Our bodies respond to light. It affects our mood, our energy, our happiness. Sometimes on difficult days, a bit of sunlight feels like a small reminder that life continues. If you're feeling relaxed right now, and if this calm story makes your night a little easier, feel free to like or leave a comment. I read everything, and it means more than you know. If you want more quiet bedtime journeys like this, subscribing will help you find your way back whenever you need a peaceful moment. Now here's something even more mysterious. The sun is constantly losing mass. Every second, it loses millions of tons of matter as it releases energy into space. It sounds dramatic, but in cosmic time, it's slow and gentle. This gradual loss of mass actually causes the planets to slowly drift farther away over billions of years. But don't worry, it's incredibly slow. Nothing we experience in our lifetime will change because of it. Life on Earth continues, sunrise after sunrise, just like it has for millions of years. When you think about it, Every morning we wake up to a star that has been shining since long before humans existed, long before dinosaurs, long before anything walked the earth. The sun is ancient, and it carries a history far older than anything on our planet. Sometimes I like imagining Earth billions of years ago, a young planet covered in volcanoes and oceans, while a bright young sun shined above it, slowly giving life a chance to begin. The sunlight that reached those ancient waters started a chain of events that eventually led to you listening right now, tonight, in this quiet moment. Life is complicated and unpredictable, but somehow, through all the chaos, we ended up here, connected to a star that has been guiding life forward since the beginning. And that feels comforting. No matter what happens in our personal world, the sun rises again. It always has. It always will, for a very long time. Another beautiful thing about the sun is how stable it is. Many stars explode violently or collapse suddenly, but our sun is gentle, predictable, almost peaceful. It keeps shining at exactly the right brightness for life to survive here. If it were just a little dimmer, Earth would freeze. If it were a little brighter, Earth would burn. So much depends on delicate balance. Sometimes I wonder if this balance teaches us something. Life works best when we don't burn too fast or freeze inside, when we stay steady, calm, consistent, just like our sun. Even storms on the sun are extraordinary. They create huge arcs of energy and magnetic fields that stretch deep into space. But strangely, even those storms become part of the rhythm of the solar system. There's something poetic in how even chaos becomes a kind of order in the universe. Scientists believe that the sun formed roughly 4.5 billion years ago, and it has enough fuel to shine for about another 5 billion years, which means we are right in the middle of its long life. It still has many peaceful eras ahead. After it leaves its stable phase, the sun will expand into a red giant, becoming enormous, much larger than it is now. It might engulf Mercury and Venus, and perhaps even Earth. But again, that moment is unimaginably far away. When it finally reaches the end, it will shrink down into a white dwarf and slowly fade over trillions of years. There's something almost gentle about that ending. No sudden explosion, no dramatic burst. Just a long, soft goodbye after a lifetime of giving warmth and light. I find that peaceful. Stars end quietly, the way nights slowly turn into mornings. The sun's energy is not just heat or light, it's memory. Every atom forged in its core came from ancient elements created by older stars long before our sun was born. In a way, our sun carries the history of stars that existed before the solar system. And we carry that history inside us too. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe. They were all made inside old stars. You are literally built from stardust. It's beautiful to think that something so ancient flows through every part of our body. We are connected not only to Earth, but to the stars that came before us. Sometimes, when life feels heavy, remembering where we come from helps us feel lighter. Even on days when the world feels complicated or uncertain, the sun rises without asking anything in return. It doesn't judge who deserves light or who doesn't. It just continues shining. I think that's something we can learn from. Even when things around us feel dark, maybe we can keep going, one quiet day at a time. If this story feels peaceful to you, and if you'd like more calm videos like this, you can subscribe. It's a simple way to stay connected whenever you need a quiet moment at night. And if you're awake enough to comment, I would love to hear if this helped you relax tonight. Your messages honestly mean a lot. Let's go a little deeper into what the sun truly is and why it exists. You already know that it's a star, but stars themselves are incredible beings of physics. They are like enormous nuclear engines, held together only by gravity and unimaginable pressure. If gravity pulls too hard, a star collapses. If internal energy pushes too hard, the star bursts. The sun exists because these two forces are perfectly balanced. That balance is not permanent. One day, the fuel will run out, and gravity will take over. But right now, in this moment, everything is working exactly the way it should. The universe rarely gives us perfection, but this star is one of the few exceptions. When sunlight reaches Earth, it travels across space untouched. There is nothing between us and the sun except emptiness. Every morning, when you feel sunlight on your skin, you are feeling the touch of a star across millions of miles. That's a long-distance connection unlike anything else in our lives. Some people say sunlight feels like hope, and maybe that's true. Even after the darkest nights, the sun rises again. Every day is proof that light returns, even when everything seems lost. The universe has given us many lessons, but this one feels very personal. Sunlight is a reminder that darkness is never permanent. So tonight, as you rest here listening, remember that the light which shaped life on Earth came from a star that formed in complete darkness. The sun wasn't always bright. It grew slowly, it settled slowly, and eventually it became strong enough to warm an entire world. Just like many things in life, beginnings are quiet and uncertain, but with time, something beautiful can rise from darkness. The sunlight that touches your face every morning began its journey millions of years ago. It traveled through the sun's core, through empty space, across millions of kilometers, just to reach you. A single moment of sunlight carries the history of stars long before our solar system existed. We are connected to that history, whether we realize it or not. Every breath you take, every plant you see, every piece of food you eat, every moment of daylight you've ever lived, is part of a story written by the sun. Without it, Earth would be cold and silent. But with it, life became possible, and eventually that life led to you being here, in this quiet moment, gently listening before sleep. When you wake up tomorrow and sunlight enters your room, maybe you'll remember that you are living inside the warmth of a star that has been shining long before humans ever opened their eyes. A star that doesn't rush, doesn't judge, and never stops giving. And when the world feels heavy or confusing, maybe it helps to remember that even stars had chaotic beginnings, but they found their balance with time. Even the sun took billions of years to become what it is today. Sometimes the strongest things grow slowly. Thank you so much for spending this time with me tonight. I truly hope this helped you relax and made your night a little more peaceful. If you enjoyed this bedtime journey and you want more calm stories like this, you can subscribe so you can return here easily whenever you need a quiet moment before sleep. And if your eyes are getting heavy, just let them close gently. You don't need to stay awake for anything more tonight. The world can wait until morning. Right now, you deserve rest. You deserve peace. And you deserve a quiet night. Sleep well.